So do me a favor, before we dive into this topic, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. You already know who it is. It's your boy, Reggie. Now, Colorado pulled off a amazing upset against TCU this past weekend. Deion Sanders, in his first game as a head coach, defeated the runner-ups last year, the TCU Horned Frogs, right? So a lot of people were skeptical about Deion Sanders and his new role at Colorado, right? A lot of people hated on it, especially from, the black community, right? They didn't like the fact that Deion Sanders was leaving Jackson State to go to a PWI, but I have been in support of that decision since it was announced. Now, after Colorado knocked off TCU, Deion Sanders then took to the podium to answer questions, and I gotta be honest, man, he let this one reporter have it. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play what Ben Maller had to say, right, of Fox Sports Radio, and then we're gonna come back and react to it.
Now, I would like to criticize Deion Sanders, even though I am on the Deion Sanders hype train. Deion attempted to immediately settle some scores with those in the media that did not buy into his ability in a press conference exchange with a random reporter. We're not even sure the name of this reporter, but whoever the reporter was did not have flattering things to say about Deion Sanders. And so Sanders got into it, a back and forth, a tit-for-tat situation here as he confronted the reporter. Do you believe now? We actually have the audio. Take a listen. Let's go to the audio tape.
What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
Deion falling into the preacher there giving a sermon, and he wanted the people in the tabernacle to give him the amen, and he did not get the amen. And also, when he was exiting that news conference, he said he would keep receipts. And he mentioned that at least a couple other times during post-game interviews. So how do you grade Deion Sanders? You heard the rant, most of it, to a random sports writer over doubting Colorado football. So this was, the word I'll use is clumsy. This was clumsy, and Deion should know better. There's no reason to be upset. It's not, last I checked, the reporter's job to be a cheerleader for Colorado football. Deion should know this. He's of an older generation. He's not from the modern generation where teams have reporters who are on the payroll for their websites, the flunkies that follow around the teams and give Manny and Petty reports on what's going on. Deion is from an era where this is how it was done. People were critical, and that's how it was supposed to be. But you don't have to have buddies who are the media people. And Deion Sanders, what he ought to do is give that writer and all the other people that were critical the pineapple upside down kick as a gift. Why? Because the critic is the inspiration. Like, I'm on the Deion Sanders hype train. I'm not the person Deion Sanders wants. You should want the so-called, in air quotes, haters. Those are the people you should want. Right? You listen to the haters. It's always been the way it is my entire life. At some point, I had an epiphany, and I realized all of sports is teams winning and saying, nobody believed in us. We overcame the odds. All of that, right? And so here Colorado is with Deion Sanders, one of the most famous people to play the game of football in the last couple of generations. Head coach now. The man oozes confidence. And he's got people out there that do not believe he can get it done. And the establishment of college football, we talked about that a lot over the last couple of weeks and months, that they are cheering against Deion Sanders. But Deion ought to embrace all of that, because it's jet fuel in terms of motivation, that manufactured outrage, that you are determined to prove the doubters wrong, and you're going to do it.
Okay, so you guys heard what Ben Maller said, right, of Fox Sports Radio. Made some interesting points. Now, here is actually what the reporter who Deion Sanders had the exchange with, this is what he had to say about that incident.
What happened? They didn't have enough reporters to go see Deion's debut, and you got to go?
Well, I live 40 minutes away, and budgets being what they are, Dan. They wanted to see what kind of range I had journalistically, whether I could cover college football and pro football, and I do know Deion, and maybe that was the reason we had a problem. I don't know.
Okay, help me understand here what you wrote that Deion referred to. Now, once again, Marvin, can we play the clip where Ed's being singled out by Deion Sanders?
What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
All righty. What was the bull junk that you wrote, Ed?
Well, first of all, in the moment, it just did not seem journalistically appropriate in that situation for me to meet his demand and tell him that I believed it and whether I do or I don't. And interacting with him, as I mentioned, over the years, he played for the Cowboys, played a long time in the NFL as a Hall of Fame player. And interacting as often as we have, I can't imagine that he really expected that I was going to commit to either position in that circumstance because it was unprofessional to do so. Fortunately, he realized it wasn't going to happen, and eventually he moved on without taking my question because if he was intent on waiting, we'd still be there. But I don't really understand, why did it matter? In that moment, after all he and his sons and his coaching staff and his players had accomplished. As for your question, I really don't know. I haven't been a writer in 30 years. I don't cover college football. This was an exception. I asked him, as you heard multiple times, what did I write? And he couldn't ever provide an example. And the reason is no such example exists. I've been doing television for the last 30 years. I'm almost exclusively a TV reporter, as you know. Now I am active on social media. And some people have pointed to a Twitter post I had in March in which I said this exactly. Colorado's celebrity football coach has made CU Buffs football the most interesting program in the country. It's number 2 in merchandise sales. Folsom Field suites are sold out, and season ticket renewal rate stands at 97%. Deion Sanders has created attention before his first win. How does that somehow make me a doubter?
But he's using you as you were a prop. It didn't matter who was there for ESPN. They would have been a prop. You're the face of ESPN, and he's calling out ESPN. He's calling out a group, and you just happen to be the person who was there representing ESPN. That would be my take on this. He didn't want to hear what was fact. He was performing.
True. And I think one of the things, sadly, that's happened in the media business now, and I think it plays into this type of reaction, is you can almost argue there are more former athletes in the media now than actual professional reporters. And so these players have a tendency, I think, to praise one another, whether deserved or not. And so that leads in a situation like this, if he's referring to my tweet, where somebody sees something that's not overwhelmingly positive, and instead it feels negative in the context that they're used to. I mean, if that tweet is what came off, and maybe you're right, maybe it was more who I was working for.
Yeah.
Although, as I mentioned, I've covered Deion for a long time, and we've had a complicated history. We've had moments where we got along great, and he helped me do my job and consented to sit down interviews, and we've had moments where it wasn't so wonderful. And during the Terrell Owens situation, he asked, as a commentator for NFL Network at the time, why couldn't I be the one who was lying instead of T.O. being the one who was lying? So I don't know if you're right. I think it's entirely possible. I also think it is possible that he was overly sensitive to this tweet where I referred to him as a celebrity coach, although I don't know how he doesn't think he's a celebrity. He would be offended if you told him he was not a celebrity, wouldn't he?
Okay, so you guys just heard what both of these guys had to say, right? And I got to be fair. I think they somewhat have a point, right? You know, obviously a lot of people didn't believe that Deion Sanders was going to be successful as the head coach at Colorado, right? And that's their right. You know, nobody has to believe in you. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, after a win like that, you know, knowing that people are rooting for you to fail, right? You get up on a post-game presser and somebody just might catch you straight. It is what it is. So is Deion wrong in this situation? He might be, but at this point, man, I don't even think it matters, right? The media, they write crazy things all the time. They come at players, coaches. So I don't see really anything wrong with a coach or a player sometimes snapping back and clapping back and having something to say. I don't really see anything wrong with it. But like I said, I want to get you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think was wrong in this situation? Or do you think anybody was wrong, right? But that's pretty much all I got for this topic. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. This was another installment of The Locker Room. Peace.